Guys, crypto is the only industry I know where literally free money just rains from the sky constantly all around us. And if you're in the right place at the right time, there's this really exciting new project that you're going to want to keep your eyes on, okay? And you're going to want to pay attention to this. Stick around because I'm going to teach you how to claim the free airdrop for the WAIT token. But first we have to go into some details, some general housekeeping about airdrops in general. All right, so before we go any farther, I want to warn you guys that I want to talk about being vigilant on free claims. And there's a great article that rhmax.org wrote. I'll link in the description below. But basically, you guys, you don't want to just be connecting your MetaMask to any old smart contract off the street, okay? So there are some cases where a smart contract could be a blatant outright scam, and you can connect to it and you can lose all your money instantly, okay? So you want to be vigilant on free claims. And I'll go over some of the quick tips right here before we go any farther that you can use to use some actual critical thinking for yourself and make your own determination on whether or not you want to claim the WAIT airdrop, which I'm going to claim it, to be quite frank. And I'll tell you why. Okay, I'll tell you why and what I'm looking out for. But it's also really just good knowledge to have for the future so that you don't have to just call everything a scam or not a scam or look to other people like me. You don't even have to trust people like me, right? You can actually go in and do some things to verify for yourself with your own eyeballs whether or not something is safe to claim or not. So when you're connecting your wallet to a dApp and you see this connect button, usually this connect button, 99.99% of the time, it's only to read the contents of your wallet. It doesn't actually do anything to your wallet, and it's pretty harmless stuff, as the article states. Now, MetaMask approvals are what you want to actually, watch out for. So when MetaMask asks for token approvals in your MetaMask wallet, when it asks you to approve a spend limit of a certain number of tokens, like Uniswap does, for example, that's when you want to be careful, because for contracts that aren't as safe and secure and audited and used as Uniswap, Uniswap's like one of the most trusted dApps in the entire crypto ecosystem. Some dApps are going to say, hey, I want you to approve, infinite spending limits for all of your hex, and then next time you try to make a transaction, I'm going to say one thing and do another, and I'm going to actually, steal all your hex, for example. Okay, that's not good. So you want to be very, very careful and think about permissions, okay? If an app is asking you for permissions, that means that you should probably be a lot more skeptical if you're being asked for spend permissions. And guys, as I've mentioned in the past, you can always go to Etherscan. They've got a thing called a token approval checker. So if you're not sure if you've ever actually put your address into any scammy smart contracts before, you can go to token approval checker on Etherscan, copy and paste your address in right in here, and this will show a list of every dApp that you ever connected your MetaMask to, and it will also show you if you've allowed any of these contracts to spend on your behalf. And now you're obviously going to see things like Uniswap, or maybe matcha.xyz, or 0x, or 1inch. All the dexes are going to show up in there, but if you see anything unrecognized, you need to use the revoke button on Etherscan's token approval checker, and make sure you revoke those permissions immediately. So this is a nice little tip you can do for your own security so you don't lose all your money. Now, another thing you want to watch out for is you're going to want to look up the token smart contract address on Etherscan and then make sure that matches with the address that's popping up in your MetaMask wallet. This is very simple to do. For example, if I see a token address with, 0x34f, blah, blah, blah on Etherscan, and I'm using my MetaMask to interact with a smart contract, this was for Pulse Doge, for example. Well, if the Etherscan prompt has the same 0x34f, and it's the same contract address, it looks like a long string of letters and numbers. If these match, you can be pretty secure that it's right, okay? Now, for example, if you saw a different mismatch, whereas, the last four numbers are different than the actual smart contract on Etherscan, that means you're probably interacting with a phishing website or just a BS fake contract, and you're going to lose all your money, okay? There's a million ways to die in crypto, okay? But you can get rich, too. You can get free money, like I'm about to show you right now. You're also going to want to check if the contract's been audited, okay? This is always a good rule of thumb. You can go to Etherscan again and just go to the contract tab on Etherscan. Guys, just do a little clicking. Do like 5 minutes of research. Go to Etherscan, type in the contract address, and just look for, under the contract tab, look for source code verified, and then look for an audit report. Now, an audit report might not be there because it might not be public. So just because it doesn't have an audit report doesn't mean it doesn't have an audit. It's just a good thing to note. So this is like the Hex smart contract, for example, clearly publishes their CoinFabric security audit in the Etherscan website itself. Now, there's a couple of other good tips and tricks in here. I like to actually just go to the code part myself personally and just do a Control F, literally just Control F for words like admin, owner, manager, and any kind of obvious functions that might belong to a privileged type of person. And if a Smart contract has admin functionality. We like to call these admin keys sometimes, and it won't always be the word admin, right? It could be owner or manager, something like that. If a contract has functions that only one or two privileged individuals are able to run, this is something to be skeptical about. Again, this doesn't mean that it's an outright scam, but you want to see for yourself, what is the admin able to do? For example, pulsepod.io has got admin functionality, but what can the admin do? Well, the admin can't blatantly steal all your money in that situation. Just like in the wait token, I will say right now, the wait token has a manager function. And the manager function basically allows the contract manager to end the claim phase at any time. Now, what's the worst that can really happen from this? Well, if the wait token manager, whoever that may be, really wants to shoot themselves in the foot and just nuke their own project, they can just end the claim phase, and then we don't get any more claim phase, and then it basically just is like an off switch for the project, and we don't get any free money, okay? But what the manager functionality is in there for is because the goal of the wait token is for the claim phase to be ending when Pulse Chain launches. And so because of the unpredictability of when Pulse Chain is going to launch, you can't code such a date into the contract if you don't know what the date actually is, okay? So because of this, the wait token requires a small manager functionality to manually be able to look in the real world and say, okay, well, Pulse Chain is launching on this particular date, therefore I will click the button to end the claim ability when Pulse Chain launches. Okay, so there's a tiny bit of trust. It's not totally trustless, but hey, free money is free money. And the worst that can happen to you is really just nothing. Okay, you might just lose your free tokens, which were free anyway. Okay, very, very minimal risk. And guys, if you're not a developer, you're probably not going to be able to read the code, but just don't be afraid to really just get in here and do a Control F and just start learning a little bit about what you can. Now let's get into wait token, guys. Before we go any farther, my last icing on the cake for this whole, is it a scam, before you guys freak out and start complaining about the free money that's being handed to you, like people often do, I should also say that it's been code reviewed and audited. So it's been audited by a professional auditing company, and it's been code reviewed by a group called the Pulse Police, which, as I understand, is a developer group within the Pulse Chain ecosystem that looks at things that an auditing company might not tend to look at, because these are developers that they've been around the block, okay? They know scams when they see them, and they've actually given a green light to the wait token as well, even though they did highlight that there is that manager functionality that I mentioned, but I also just mentioned why that manager functionality exists and why it shouldn't really scare you, okay? So what is wait? Guys, wait is basically a way to reward all of us in the Pulse Chain ecosystem that have been waiting for various tokens to launch, that have been waiting for Pulse Chain to launch for ages. And so it's basically a free token rewarded to anybody that got in the sacrifice set of one of 8 different projects on Pulse Chain, including Pulse Chain and including Pulse X. So these are going to be the valid projects. If you sacrificed for any one of these, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Hurricash, Mintra, IMD, Liquid Loans, Genius, or Fiat.io, any one of these 8, you are eligible to claim some free wait tokens. So it's pretty awesome, right? I'm in like 5 of these, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think the only ones that I'm not in, to be honest, are Hurricash, Genius, and IMD. All the other ones I get, so yay me. So wait launched 2 days ago on July 5th. The launch supply is 880 million wait tokens, and there are 195,000 wallets eligible to claim. Now, the amount that you're able to claim is based on the number of days times the number of hours. So basically every hour that you've waited in a sacrifice set since the sacrifice set's end date, you're able to mint 1 additional wait token. Now, because, for example, Pulse has already been 337 days, right, times 24 hours a day, that actually equals 8,088 wait tokens that you could claim right on July 5th, right at the launch of the wait token claim phase. And there's 55,000 people in this sacrifice set. So a lot of the allocated supply of wait token is allocated to the Pulse sacrifice set because the number of days is so high, and days times hours equals the total inflation that you get so far. And any additional hour that you wait to claim your tokens, this number just ticks up one by one every hour. So every day that I wait to claim these 8,088 coins that I would get from having joined the Pulse sacrifice, I add another 24 coins to the mix. Does that make sense? So after 1 day, after waiting 1 more day to claim, it's 8,112, I believe. So small increments up every hour, right? When the hour ticks over, you're able to claim 1 more wait token. But once you claim, you can't claim any more tokens after that. So that's the catch, right? So it's another game of waiting. It's how long can you continue to delay your gratification before Pulse Chain launches. But when Pulse Chain launches, like I mentioned earlier, you can't claim anymore. So the claim button goes away. And again, that manager function turns off the claim phase and you missed your chance. Okay, so you don't want to wait too long, but it's a game of kind of chicken and egg. So we've seen that, wait can be minted once per address that participated in each of the 8 sacrifice sets. However, because, some sacrifices have existed and been finished for longer periods of time, those are going to be rewarded more because there's been more days that have passed since that sack has ended. All right. And now there's going to be a share system too, where that even if you do claim your weight and you choose to dump it, the system will register that you did at one point claim weight token, and you'll be issued shares for doing so. And those shares are going to get you what's called the midnight bonus. So just like with the Hex big payday. So remember how with Hex, when you could claim it for free with Bitcoin, but all the Bitcoin that was unused to claim actually got distributed to Hex stakers later on the big payday? Well, it's a similar situation with weight token, right? So we know that not everybody, not all 55,000 of these people are going to actually claim their free weight token. And so of this total supply that's allocated to the, let's say the Pulse sacrifice set, for example, of this 440 million tokens, let's say only half the people claim, well, that would only leave 220 million tokens left. And that 220 million would be distributed proportionally to everybody in the weight token set that did claim their tokens. So you want to be in here, you want to be claiming your tokens, because not only do you get this free money, plus whatever free money that you get from waiting those extra hours before the launch, you also get the midnight bonus, and there will be a midnight bonus for every one of these coins, basically calculating how many people didn't claim, and of all those people that didn't claim, all that unclaimed money gets divvied up back to the people that did claim. So it's pretty cool. Now there is something similar to an origin address. So it's called the Timekeeper, right? It's funny, everyone's got a different name for their origin address. In weight, they're calling it the Timekeeper. The Timekeeper actually receives 50% of the midnight bonus. So remember those unclaimed coins we were just talking about? Well, half of them actually only go back to the weight claimers, whereas the other half go to this guy, the Timekeeper. And this is what he looks like right here. He's a big scary guy, a little clip art scary time guy. So the game theory, so they say, is patience, right? And we obviously like rewarding patience, so I can get behind that. And obviously it's free money, so I'm going to get behind it. And to be honest, I'm probably going to sell it as soon as there's a pump. We'll get into that in a little bit. But they're claiming on the white paper here that it's kind of like a game of chicken. So have you ever wanted to play chicken with a billionaire? Here's your chance. So it's basically saying that it's a game of you choosing to claim before Richard Hart decides to launch Pulse Chain. Now, I don't really buy into this narrative that much, to be honest, because I truly believe that Richard will probably give, at least a couple of hours notice before Pulse Chain actually launches. I don't think he'll give maybe a full week anymore, but I think he probably will give more than a day. And as long as he gives more than an hour of notice, honestly, you don't really need to fear that much about whether or not you're going to miss out, in my opinion, right? And I could be wrong. And Richard could totally just choose to stealth launch Pulse Chain and not tell anybody about it. And then effectively, everyone that was waiting to claim their weight token just got screwed. But I find that very unlikely, so I'm very comfortable with just continuing to wait. Personally, guys, I'm not going to claim my tokens until Pulse Chain launches. And that's my strategy going forward, because why not just accrue a little extra tokens until the time that Pulse Chain launches. Now, I should say that my strategy along with that is that if I see a pump in the price, and what's the price right now, guys? Well, there's not really much of a price. Okay, we can go to the chart right here. It's only been around for 2 days. And you always take the first 2 days in a trading pair with a grain of salt, right? Because anybody can set the price in any decentralized exchange by just the amount of liquidity that they put up. So these prices don't really mean anything right now. Okay, guys, just want to make that very clear. And just because the price is sitting at 1 penny right now, I'm going to wait a couple of days for the price discovery to actually happen, because look, we're talking about $3,000 of liquidity. That's literally nothing, guys. So you need time for liquidity volume to ramp up, liquidity and volume. You need people to put up liquidity so that real price discovery can happen. And now, like I was saying, I am going to wait to claim my weight, but I will be probably cashing out at the first pump I see, because we're in a bear market, guys. We're in a bear market, and if we're lucky enough to get a pump, well, I'm personally going to take some profit on that pump, maybe 90%, maybe all of it, who knows, but we'll see how high the thing pumps, right? If it does at all. I hope it does. Because I think that the profit that I could make in any potential pump with this coin, I'm being totally honest with you guys, I think that's going to outweigh any leftover weight tokens that I might accrue by waiting more and more hours, right? So if I see a 10x in this coin, I'm going to say, okay, screw the extra 500 coins I could get more by waiting another month or two. I'm just going to cash out now. That's my plan. And I don't really care what you think about it. I'm just being transparent with you. So bonuses. Again, when a user mints their wait, they also get shares in the system, and the shares just allocate you to receive the midnight bonus. Remember, that's when the claim phase ends. The moment the claim phase ends and the moment that Pulse Chain launches is also the moment that the midnight bonus is distributed back to everybody that claimed their wait and to that Timekeeper guy, right? Now, you could do this thing called wait claim averaging. I don't really find this too interesting, but you could essentially like dollar cost averaging. If you joined multiple sacrifices, you could choose to, for example, mint one right away and then wait a month and mint the other one, then wait a couple more weeks and mint the next one, because then you're not really trying to time the exact launch. But like I said earlier, I'm just banking on the fact that either we get a pump first or we get Richard actually announcing the launch date, which gives everybody more than enough time to claim. And I could be wrong, right? So if I'm wrong, you might want to try out this strategy called wait claim averaging. Read the white paper, guys. You know how to read. It's very important that you actually do some research on this. Now, they've got a little blurb in here about robbing the Timekeeper. So essentially what they're saying is, hey guys, you want to tell as many people as you can about this, because if the more people that know, the more you can rob the Timekeeper, and the more that the midnight bonus gets taken away from the Timekeeper and back to the stakers. Now, I kind of respectfully disagree with this. Theoretically, I mean, from a game theory perspective, I would think that you wouldn't want to tell anybody about this, because even though the Timekeeper is getting 50% of all the bonuses, if we assume the Timekeeper is a benevolent entity, and again, that might be a big assumption to make, right? But a lot of these origin address type folks tend to just be big whales that never sell to try to hold up the price and be a fail-safe mechanism. But anyway, if we assume that the Timekeeper, is a legitimate dude, theoretically, you wouldn't want to be telling anybody about this, right? Because you would want more for yourself. You'd want more of that midnight bonus to go back to you. And the more people that claim, the more that midnight bonus gets divided up against more people. Now, I'm contradicting myself, because here I am making a YouTube video that thousands of people are going to watch, and probably a lot of people are going to claim because they watched this video. So that's just because I'm such a nice guy, right? You're welcome, okay? But seriously, if you did want to actually play the game right, I think you might not want to tell anybody about this, but hey, I like free money. I know everyone else likes free money. So give me a like and subscribe, because I'm literally giving you free money at my expense, right? And then value creation. So this is where they're trying to basically outline a value prop for Wait Token. Wait Token was designed to tokenize and deliver value to the people that sacrificed and have been waiting in the Pulse Chain ecosystem. I think that's pretty cool, just extending an olive branch to every community. And what I think they're really trying to do, as it's outlined in their FAQ over here, is the aims of Wait are also to bring the community together. So this is a good way, I think, for us to all get along, stop, fighting over which projects is better, which sacrifices are better or worse. I mean, you guys know what I've invested in, right? You guys know what I sacrificed for. If you've been following me, I talk about it in all my older videos, but really, we're all one big community, guys. So I think we can all rally behind the fact that free money is pretty cool, okay? That's not a very controversial take, and I think that's pretty fun. It's a fun little mini game that we're having right now, because waiting is boring, and the bear market's boring, so why not get a little free money in the process? Now, aside from that, the other value prop is basically just, they're saying, like, because it's a token, people are going to trade it, right? They're saying, we've seen a bunch of tokens that didn't really have utility, but they developed an additional utility that was not apparent at launch, right? These are things like Pulse Doge, right? A bunch of generic meme coins that really just trade because they're a ticker symbol. So there you have it, right? The actual value prop of Wait, it's not too enticing for me. It's not something I personally am going to hold long term. Yeah, okay, hang me on the cross for saying that, whatever. But it is nice to have some free money and nice to unite the community together. And I really want to say a big shout out to whoever developed this. And they are KYC'd, I should mention that, but they're not KYC'd to me personally. They're KYC'd by a third-party company. So whoever you are, thanks for the smart contract, thanks for the time, and thanks for a little bit of free cash. So I hope this thing does pump, right? We're going to have to keep an eye on it. And right now on Uniswap, we can get a rough price for it. But again, this is so early. It's only been around for 2 days. That the price of Wait, sure, it's about 2 cents right now, but that means nothing when there's only $2,000 in the liquidity pool, okay? That's so much nothing that you can't really even make a reasonable projection right now. Now, I hope it goes much higher. I hope it goes to $1, for example, because, then my Pulse claim would be $8,000, right? But at 2 cents, for example, the pulse chain claim, if you were in the pulse chain sacrifice set, would be worth about $161. And you know, at this point, if weight continues to be 2 cents, I might personally end up making about, you know, maybe less than $1,000 from it. But hey, still, free money is free money. So I want to see that price go up. I want to tell more people about it because I think the more people that we tell, the more that can drive the price up, and that can outpace any potential sell pressure in the short term. The long term, not a huge believer in this long term, but hey, free cash is free cash. Now this is the app at 0xweight.com. Link in the description below. You're going to want to really simply just connect your MetaMask wallet. And once you do that, it's going to pop up with a little transaction in your MetaMask. This transaction is simply to connect to the Chainlink Oracle that matches your public address with their database of everybody that's sacrificed in every one of these sacrifice sets. So again, guys, you're not giving away your rights. You're not giving away your private keys. You're not giving any spend allowances. It's just for them to read your address, match it to say, did this guy actually participate in any one of these 8 phases? And if so, let them claim. So you can see with this wallet, my test wallet here, I did do a small sacrifice for Pulse, luckily. And so I'm able to claim 8,134 weight, which is really just the 8,088 coins plus about 100 more coins because I've waited, you know, 2 days. So all those hours, like we just talked about, right? Because I waited so many hours, I'm awarded a couple more weight tokens, exactly 1 more weight token per hour, right? And if I want to claim that, I just click the big obvious claim button, and it's a small transaction fee. Transaction fees are small right now, so that's a good sign, but I'm not going to do that yet. Because like I said, I'm going to wait for a pump, or I'm going to wait to accrue tokens in the meantime. Let me know if you guys have any cool game theory components that I'm missing here. You know, we could do a quick calculation and see how much. Let's say, for example, I've joined 5 of these sacrifice sets. So, for example, because I joined 5 sacrifice sets and there's 24 hours in a day, we could do 24 times 5 and say that I'm actually making an additional 120 weight tokens a day. And at, let's say, a price of 3 cents, I'm only earning $3.6 a day. So this isn't really a huge cash cow right now at these low prices for me to keep waiting. But again, if this thing goes up to 30 cents or even $1, which would be crazy, this could be a lot of money we're talking about, right? So every day, you're basically just earning 24 extra tokens a day per sacrifice. You can do some quick math, right? Let's say you joined, 3 sacrifices. Well, you're earning, 72 additional tokens per day? And then you can kind of calculate the opportunity cost in your head of, well, what if I sell now versus how many days in the future do I think are going to happen or occur before Pulse Chain launches? Now, to be safe, I might give myself like another 100 days for Pulse Chain to launch, right? I don't know exactly, but maybe let's say another 100 days. And then you can kind of calculate, okay, 100 days times 5 sacrifice sets times 24 coins per day times the price of the coin. And maybe I'll be earning another 10,000 times 10,000 weight tokens before Pulse Chain launches. That's just a guess. So I could either earn 10,000 more weight tokens or sell now, right? And so you want to really play that game with yourself. So guys, let me know in the comments below if I'm missing any game theory components to this thing. What do you think about my strategy, right? What's your strategy? Is it different than mine? I'm going to be telling as many people as I can about weight, again, just to generate demand, but I'm also minimizing my midnight bonus in the process, right? But this is something you're going to want to check out because it's a nice little gift and something to keep things interesting in the bear market here. So I hope you learned something today. Make sure to like and subscribe. As always, I've got courses available in the description below. If you're brand new to crypto, these courses are for you. And have a good rest of your day, guys. See you on the next one.